We all know there are things that are simply impossible to do. And if you know something about welding, I am sure you are aware that it is impossible to weld die casting aluminium with extruded aluminium beams. Well, this was impossible until this car was made. In fact, the BMW i3 is really revolutionary when it comes to car manufacturing. But what about this Yamaha? What can be done with this frame? The usual and wise answer will be nothing. But just like BMW did on the i3, I found one builder who decided to defy conventions. Welcome to racertv. This is one of those projects we can only judge correctly after seeing the donor motorcycle. Because in order to reach this point, the builder had to do what I thought was impossible. This surprising motorcycle is the work of Lucas Layum and the crew of Lucky Custom, located in Argentina. You probably remember him from several amazing projects I presented in the past. And looking at them, it is easy to conclude that we are dealing with a very daring builder, because he usually dares to do what very few do. So, here's how this bike is now. And here's how it was. You can easily see that we are dealing with a really bold project. And here is the transformation's key point, which I am still not sure how Lucas did it. Most of you probably know that the Yamaha FZR 600 Genesis had a Deltabox chassis, which is a high rigidity aluminium frame construction, helping to achieve outstanding handling stability. But in what concerns to converting it into something more CafeRacer, the Deltabox frame shape is always the big obstacle. Aesthetically, it is very difficult to separate this bike from the sports bike category. And technically, I've always heard that it was impossible to change Deltabox frames. And here is why. As I said earlier, although BMW achieved it, for the common mortals, it is impossible to weld die casting aluminium with extruded aluminium beams. Considering the Deltabox chassis is made using controlled flow die cast aluminium, how did Lucas weld this section? Unfortunately, he did not reveal to me his secret. But I have two theories, which I believe explain the mysterious welds. The first and most probable explanation is, there is no mystery about it. In other words, I think the original Deltabox frame was cut, but never welded. I believe this entire section is probably made out of steel, and it is inserted inside the Deltabox frame and locked with this long bolt. I say this because there is a small gap between the Deltabox frame and the custom structure. It may not be entirely clear, but it is there. My second theory is based on this image. I have never thought that cast aluminium could rust as this one. This demonstrates there are some other minerals mixed with the Deltabox aluminium. Therefore, there might be a chance of having some welding possibilities. Another interesting feature is this transparent section on the fuel tank. It may not have a functional purpose, but it allows to see the air filters inside. But I like to see the connection with the mini fairing visor. It also makes the fuel tank look more interesting, just like these triangular plates, which have some similarities with other sections. The bikini fairing obviously came from the original one, but it has some modifications to fit better on this new and lighter condition. Speaking about that, the original Yamaha 600 Genesis has only 180 kilograms of dry weight. But looking at this transition, I can only assume that it now is lighter than ever. Personally, I admire this impressive project for its very bold approach. Somehow, I see sort of a Ducati flavor on this new frame. And interestingly, it has some similarities with the new Yamaha FZR 900. Especially the seat. The general proportions are evidently different. But the fact both seats are fully upholstered, and the rear has a boxy style, is quite interesting. And if we compare the new FZR with the previous one, you can easily see that the lines of the frame are returning to the earlier Deltabox format from the 80s and 90s. Although this blue color is beautiful, it seems it was not the first option. Because a few months before, Lucas tried something completely different. Sort of a carbon version. Here you can see the bike was covered with an adhesive film that gives the carbon fiber effect. It is also interesting, although I think the yellowish glass sections don't match. But I think Lucas gave up on this idea due to finish problems. And I am glad he did, because this blue color paint job looks excellent. The only modification I think could improve the project are the wheels. Because with wider tires and different alloy wheels, the general posture could gain a more muscular personality. But even as it is now, I think the transformation level is quite impressive. I never thought a Yamaha FZR 600 could reach this point. And this means Lucas Layum and the team of Lucky Custom did another magnificent work. Thank you for watching Racer TV. And as always, I hope to see you on the next video.